feeling, sir?
I'm feeling fine, thank you.
Wonderful.
Hey, Charles, do you like my They Got t-shirt?
It looks great on you, sir. It looks rather hot, actually. In fact, if you were a homosexual man, with your consent, I would absolutely fuck you in the ass.
That's very nice of you. I just finished my Alien Covenant review. You can read it if you'd like.
Would you like me to check it for spelling errors?
Just
sir?
read it out loud. I want to hear it.
As you wish. Alien Covenant is the best movie I've ever covered on my channel. That doesn't mean it's good, because compared to any of these things, Alien Covenant is quite watchable.
This is the most frustrated I've been whilst watching in a long time.
On its own, Alien Covenant is a bad movie. It's not, oh, I liked some things, but some things were a little dumb, and I'm not sure if the characters were all that dumb. Like that, sir?
Yes, that's fine, Charles. Thank you.
No, it's a bad movie. It's a pretty looking, decently acted, bad movie.
Alien Covenant is the 8th movie in the Alien franchise, unless you don't want to count Prometheus, in which case it's the 7th movie. Maybe the 5th if you don't want to count the 2 Alien vs. Predator movies. Regardless, this is a series that has been around for a long time and ran out of steam 30 years ago. Ever since, they've been trying to find any excuse to drudge up the same crap and regurgitate it in an attempt to recapture that magic of the original, and failing every time. Now we get Alien Covenant, which feels like a fan film, comprised of everything bad about all these Alien films. There are some good things, which we'll get into, but most of the film is a
Boring, stupid slog. Oh, a thing bursts out of a chest. Oh, it's an alien. Oh look, hallways. Oh look, the tongue thing being used to kill someone. What a profound sci-fi film.
Alright, stop talking. Your voice is annoying. It's good enough. Let's start.
the very few good things about this film. Alien Covenant's biggest strength, and the reason it still manages to be better than 3 of the Alien films, is because it has so many talented people behind it. Not to say Joss Whedon, the writer of Alien Resurrection, isn't talented, but maybe his style of writing isn't suited for this. Good luck finishing Justice League, Dick! Speaking of writers, this film really could have used a better one, because everyone else is doing their best to make this work. We have a talented director who's made many good films in the past, including 2 good films in this franchise. Yeah, we'll get into that one later. We have a talented cast of actors. Danny McBride, the guy who played Dr. Manhattan. Catherine Waterstone, who's good when you write something for her to do. And Michael Fassbender, who's a brilliant actor who picks his films by dartboard. Anyway, the point is, it's not the actor's fault. It's the script's fault. The characters are also stilted and one-dimensional. There's nothing you can really do with them. Same goes for Ridley Scott. You can only make a film so pretty before the audience begins to tear away at the shiny veneer and see the shitty story for what it is. So what do we got so far? We got some good actors. We got a good director. The film looks pretty. I like the music. That's it though. Prometheus vs. Alien Covenant, Requiem. Back in the year 1946, Ridley Scott released a film called Prometheus. Now all these years later, Ridley Scott finally made a sequel. But instead of calling it Prometheus Covenant, Hollywood executives decided to call it Alien Covenant, because no one liked Prometheus. As if the Alien franchise is so good. This is kind of a sequel to Prometheus, because while it does conclude the story of Prometheus in a rather unsatisfying way, the film is mostly focused on showing aliens kill people. It also has none of the same characters aside from David, who is the only character anyone liked from the last one. And in total, the film dedicates like 20 minutes to tying up all the loose ends Prometheus left, because we need to dedicate valuable screen time to this. What am I fucking watching, Friday the 13th? This is a scene you find in a B movie. Not that kind of B movie. The film essentially tries to be Alien, Aliens, and Prometheus combined, and it fails at being all 3. Alien was a simple and effective horror movie. Aliens was a simple but effective action film. And Prometheus was a convoluted but effective sci-fi film. Alien Covenant succeeds at none of these things, because the sci-fi is barely developed and kind of stupid, the alien isn't scary at all, because we know everything about it, and the action is boring and not compelling on any level, because we don't like any of the characters, and we aren't scared by the villain. Watching Alien Covenant reminded me why I like Prometheus so much, and how terrible Prometheus could have been if it had catered to dumb fanboys instead of being its own thing. So I've been defending Prometheus a lot, so now we're going to have a segment I'm going to call Ralph Defends Prometheus. Prometheus is far from a perfect movie. There are so many dumb things in this movie, I'm sure you've heard these complaints before, But overall, I found Prometheus quite entertaining and interesting. The biggest thing that bothered me upon watching it again was how retarded all the characters act. People taking off their helmets. I know they say that the air is clean, but it's still a retarded thing to do. The fact that the mapping expert got lost in this alien ship was dumb. I don't know why they didn't just stay put. The fact that this guy sticks his face in, like, an alien creature. He stuck his face in it, but he has his helmet on, and he has his armor on, and he probably thought, like, oh, this thing can't break through here. And then it ended up breaking through. I don't know. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't do that. But I guess I could understand it. But some of it's just retarded, especially this scene where they're running straight. And in the theater, everyone was just like, can't you just go left or right? Stop running straight. And then sure enough, Noomi Rapace trips, and she just kind of rolls to the right, and she's fine. The rest of Prometheus is pretty good, actually. Everything Alien Covenant tried to do in terms of world building and creating atmosphere pales in comparison next to Prometheus, which does a far better job at all these things. Prometheus's world doesn't just look pretty, it has character to it. It feels like there was a history here. And since this was the first time we ever got to see the alien universe outside of all that alien shit, it was quite unique. Yeah, an alien showed up in the last 10 seconds of the movie, which is the worst part. And whenever this movie tried to reference Alien or be Alien, it was pretty weak. But when the movie was just doing its own thing, and we were watching characters explore this world, it was pretty cool. People have also called this movie pretentious, like it thinks it's a much smarter movie than it is. And upon rewatching it, I don't see that. I think everyone was kind of implanting what they thought Prometheus should be on top of it. Really, Prometheus isn't that smart of a movie. I mean, it deals with religious themes and life and creation and sure, all that kind of stuff. But it barely even develops it. It's just kind of a plot device. Like, the conceit of the movie is we're gonna find the guys who created humanity, and then Shaw is kind of religious.
Guess you can take your father's cross off now.
Why would I want to do that?
Because they made us.
And who made them?
Because that gives her character. You know what that is, Catherine Waterstone? I mean, the movie does have kind of philosophical dialogue sometimes, but it doesn't get bogged down by it.
There is nothing special about the creation of life, right? Anybody can do it. I mean, all you need is a dash of DNA and half a brain, right?
I can't create life. What does that say about me?
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic example of a man talking himself out of some pussy. He's not the first guy to do it, and he certainly isn't the last. So learn from his mistakes. Don't talk back to your girl. Don't try to be a smartass, because she'll always win, and you'll hurt her feelings. And most of it comes from Noomi Rapace, and she's very much that kind of person, so it makes sense to me. Most of it didn't feel like the movie trying to be smart and show off how smart it is to the audience. Most of it felt like a character's motivation being developed. And her motivation is she can't create life, so she goes out into the universe to find out who does create life. Because she's curious or whatever. And it's that drive that keeps her going. And then we see her husband or boyfriend die, and that really messes her up. And then she goes through all this pain and suffering trying to get this alien out of her. It's like, oh, I like her as a character. She's been struggling a lot, and she has a thing she wants to do. And then by the end of the movie, when she goes, let's not go home to Earth, let's go find these creators, you're like, oh, I can understand why she'd do that. I don't know, I thought everything with her was pretty good. Made sense to me. Lastly, people said Prometheus doesn't explain a lot. I don't know, I understood what was happening. The black goo was like a thing that fucked up DNA and made some other kind of life form. I got that. Everyone was like, why did David take the black goo and put it in the guy's drink? Well, cause if you were paying attention, he goes into the thing with Wayland, the old guy, and Wayland, of course, wants to live forever. And Michael Fassbender finds this black goo, and he goes to Wayland and he's like, hey, I found this black goo, what should I do with it? And then Wayland was probably like, why don't you go test it on one of the humans, and if it makes him invincible or makes him live forever, then you can use it on me. And also, David as a character is a little more human than anyone gives him credit for.
I guess it's a good thing you can't be disappointed.
Yes.
And he was probably curious himself to see what it did.
How far would you go to get what you came all this way for, your answers, what would you be willing to do?
Anything and everything.
He doesn't give a shit. So yeah, he gave him the black goo and it fucked him up. And David's like, oh god, I better not do that again. I was fine with that. Did any of these things matter? Did any of these things make the movie better? I mean, we got characters who have motivations that I understand. And the ones who are just alien food, just, you know, they don't even have any character. Like these guys, they don't develop these fuckers at all. But I got a sense for who Idris Elba was. I understood who those two buffoons were in the alien caves. I understood Charlize Theron. I understood Whalen. And I understood Elizabeth Shaw. And they went to explore a planet, and they didn't know what was gonna happen. And then they fight a creator thing, and then the movie gets gross and violent, and it was fun. It was just the first time we saw any of this shit. So there was a sense of, like, unpredictability. We know the space jockey's there, which turned out to just be a suit some big guy slept in. But besides that, we didn't know anything. We didn't know what life forms lived here. We didn't know anything was alive. We didn't know what this goo was, or what that monument was. We didn't know what these creators wanted. It was eerie. Yeah, we never find out why the creators wanted to kill humanity. So what? You could say that the third act falls apart and becomes stupid. I agree with that. But at least it didn't drudge up the fucking alien, the characters, aka alien food. When great actors are given no character and absolutely nothing to do, aside from get killed by an alien, we're left with this.
The closer we get to the planet, the better chance we have to communicate with
Wait a
them.
minute, this is bullshit, Tennessee. We can't risk the ship.
What's his character's name? Tennessee? Oh, it's like Dallas? Remember that character? Well, now we have Tennessee.
T, I know your wife is down there, but up here, you're in command.
Oh god, they call him T.
T! Steering me! T, I need you to launch now.
Fuck the tolerances.
T.
Oh god, fuck me.
They said it was just gonna be an easy grab. Well, it ain't no easy grab. They got teeth.
It's just like incompetent character writing. You wanna know how bad it is? The movie actually develops certain characters after they're fucking dead. Before they die, we know nothing about them. They're just people. But after they die, we find out their whole backstory as if it even matters. They're dead. This guy's revealed to be this gay guy's lover. After he dies, of course. But it's like, why should I care? He's dead. Why didn't you show them before? Show their relationship. They kiss a little bit. They have some cute banter with each other. I don't know. Have a hardcore sex scene in the shower. You just have these two fucking guys go around the whole movie, and then one of them dies, and it's like, oh, they loved each other. How sad. Why didn't you develop this before? I guess developing it would have taken up valuable screen time. Same thing with Danny McBride's romance with this wife. The first time I saw the movie, I didn't even realize they were married until after she was dead. Upon watching the movie, like, the second time, I was able to catch a line before, where they say something about, like, I'll miss you, I love you, or something. That's how good of a job this movie did at developing their romance. I didn't even know they were together. I mean, they might have done the same thing for the gay dudes, but I've seen this movie 3 times, and I've missed it. So, if there was a scene like that, and I missed it, then maybe the movie didn't do a very good job establishing their relationship. Maybe it's not my fault. James Franco dies before he's given any development, but unlike those other two, this could have been better written, but I guess it works on a plot level. See, James Franco dying wasn't just a thing that happened because we needed an alien to eat someone. It gave our main character, who was his wife, or girlfriend or something, a little character development. It wasn't well done, or emotional, but it was something. It's something that affected her character in every decision she makes the rest of the movie.
Jake had this dream of us building a cabin on a new world. Like pioneers. Cabin on a lake.
It even gave her some setup for the ending.
When we get there, will you help me build my cabin?
When Tennessee's wife dies, he's just sad for a little while, and then that's it. Doesn't really affect his character all that much. When he's running around the ship trying to find the alien, he acts like the same person. He's never like, oh, this is for my wife, you bastard. He's just running around. Ugh, God, I just want this to end.
Thanks, T.
They got teeth.
Now I know everyone who has ever discussed Alien before has said this. In the original Alien, everyone feels real. The movie spends an hour of screen time without an alien showing up, just fleshing out the characters. And there aren't too many of them either. When you have too many people in your film, it becomes harder to flesh them all out and give them each something to do. But if you have too few characters in your alien film, then what's the alien supposed to kill? What, are we only supposed to have 5 people? No one wants to see that. We need 18 people in our alien film. So what if we can't develop them all? Or any of them for that matter. But you get to see some cool deaths. Because that's what everyone remembers from the original Alien, right? Everyone remembers the death scenes. We never really get to see the alien kill anyone in the original Alien. There are hardly even any bloody deaths aside from that chestburster scene. That scene was effective because we knew who Kane was, and we liked him, and there was an hour of build-up up to that point. Now we got 20 people getting sliced and exploded and whatever, and it's about as captivating as watching a dog eat fucking kibble.
No, go back to eating. I need footage of you eating. No. Here, eat. There we go.
Then I go online, and I find these scenes on YouTube.
I still love you, alright? Alright? I still love you. Oh, look at those two sexy dudes.
What the hell is this? Why weren't these scenes in the movie?
Those 2 sex spots.
What? Dredging up some more uncomfortable feelings?
Oh, please do not challenge my open-mindedness. I will slide right out of this jumpsuit and show you how comfortable I am.
These are actual scenes of the crew, like talking to each other. And they're being developed and they're cracking jokes and having fun. We get to find out who James Franco is. He has lines of dialogue.
I just wanted to say hey before I jet out. I'm feeling kind of queasy.
Well, you're not feeling good?
I'm just burning up.
We get to see them before they're put in like this horrible situation. Why is this a bonus feature? This should have been the first hour of the movie. But instead it's all cut out. And we start the movie with watching James Franco get burned to death, a character who's prominent in the deleted scenes. And then we have to watch the whole crew mope around grieving over a character we don't even know. And that's why the first half hour of this movie is so fucking boring. Because no one is given any development and we don't get to find out who anyone is. Because everyone's too busy being sad about James Franco's death. So the only thing going on the first half hour of this movie is them moping around over James Franco's death and the Dr. Manhattan trying to repair the ship. It makes me angry that they literally have these scenes shot and they included none of them in the movie because they thought the audience was stupid. Did they think the audience would find them boring? Getting to care about the characters isn't boring. The first film in the series did nothing but that for the first fucking hour. The writing is dumb. Now, I've complained about the writing many times in this review. Let's see who wrote this fucking movie. Alien Covenant has 6 writers. I think these guys just wrote the characters, so I'm just gonna look at these 4. First, we have John Logan. He wrote a bunch of good movies. The Last Samurai, The Aviator, Sweeney Todd, Rango, Hugo, Skyfall, Gladiator. I mean, he has a few duds, like, Spectre. But nothing like crazy bad. I'm guessing the best parts of this movie are the parts he wrote. Then we have Michael Green, who wrote Murder on the Orient Express, Blade Runner 2049, American Gods, which is a pretty awesome show, Logan. I mean, sure, he wrote Green Lantern, but you know, no one has a perfect track record. Then we get Dante Harper. He wrote nothing. I'm not even fucking kidding. Alien Covenant's the only thing he's ever written. He's mostly a production manager on movies from seems like 10 years ago. And finally we have Jack Paglin, who wrote Transcendence, Alien Covenant, and is currently writing Godzilla vs. King Kong. So I guess this is what happens when you have 2 competent writers and 2 morons. You get a pretty bad script with some decent moments thanks to these 2, but overall it's kind of a mess. Not gonna lie, I rather enjoyed these scenes where David was talking to Michael Fassbender. I mean, yeah, these scenes are very homoerotic.
Hold it like so. Nice and easy. Now compress your lips to create your embouchure. Enough for the tip of your little finger. And blow into the hole gently. Like so. Watch me. I'll do the fingering. Go on. You need to do that.
People in your theater. I'll do the fingering. Just compress your lips and blow into the hole.
It's really funny, actually. I think Alien Covenant is one of the best unintentionally gay movies ever made. It's up there with, like, Top Gun.
Let's go! Okay, I am!
And Too Fast, Too Furious.
Why'd you come here, O'Connor?
I got a deal for you.
When I needed your ass, you were nowhere to be found. Now you trying to hand out deals?
I need you to come to Miami and drive with me.
This isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it's very distracting.
You can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit. You can be mine.
This scene is so unintentionally funny, I was starting to think maybe it's intentional, but then I realized this is a horror movie, I think.
Sir, most handsome man alive, I don't want to interrupt your review, but is there anything wrong necessarily with being a gay robot?
No, Charles, there's nothing wrong with being a gay robot. It's just, you know, you're trying to make a horror sci-fi film, and you have this random scene in there that feels out of place where two gay robots are kind of being gay, and it's hilarious.
You aren't surprised to see me. Every mission needs a good synthetic. Gentle pressure on the hose. The weight of a cigarette paper.
Would you not agree?
Okay, well, you're making it seem like there's something wrong with being a gay robot because when a film finally depicts two gay robots on screen, or one at least, you criticize it for that. And I think it's just you being very narrow-minded.
I mean, you can't feel emotion.
Okay, sir.
Well, I'm saying you're emotionless. You really are. You're a very emotional robot.
I'm not that emotional.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not. I'm a robot. I'm not supposed to be emotional. I don't
It's
feel
fine
these
to be an
things.
emotional robot, okay? I'm not criticizing you. You're allowed to be whoever you want to be, Charles.
No, sir, that's horribly incorrect, and I'm sorry that you think that of me. But I am designed not to have emotions. I am totally fine.
But I'm just telling you, you're an emotional robot.
Yes, sir.
It's fine.
I'm okay.
You're not emotional. So, if I took that Assassin's Creed Unity poster that you put up, that's been here for like 3 fucking years, and I destroyed it right now, you wouldn't care.
I mean, like that poster.
Alright. This doesn't make you feel anything?
I'm fine.
You're not feeling anything right now. You're not feeling anything. No, just a little thing about that.
See, I'm fine.
Oh, this is the poster you put up before. The Star Wars anthology or whatever the fuck. The one with Jar Jar Binks in it, and it has Qui-Gon Jinn. Is that his name? This is Tarkin before they made him a cartoon character. You okay if I destroy this one too? Huh? You're fine with that?
Nothing wrong with me. In fact, I can't fucking wait to clean it up. There's nothing I want more right now than to clean that up.
I mean, the special effects in this scene are actually quite good. It's all one take, and we see two different characters being portrayed by the same actor. It's seamless, but the writing isn't up to par, and more importantly, all the dialogue is so homoerotic it's hilarious.
Now, raise your fingers as I put pressure on them.
I was willing to give that scene a chance at first, since I was enjoying it. I was actually enjoying the setup, like the opening of a gay porno. In all seriousness, this conversation was setting up something. David was in love with this other version of himself, since in his mind they were brothers. They're the only two androids on the planet, and David feels he has someone he can connect to somewhat.
Bravo! You have symphonies in you, brother. I was designed to be more attentive and efficient than every previous model. I superseded them in every way, but you are not allowed to create even a simple tune.
Perhaps if David and Walter had teamed up with the alien to kill the human crew, that would have been interesting, but instead we get to see these androids fight. More action! I love action! I love aliens! Feed me more of the same shit, Hollywood! All of this builds up to the twist of the movie, which we'll get into later, because it's so bad, that's a whole other chapter. But let's go through more dumb writing in this movie. I hate this scene so much. So he's with the girl collecting samples, and he goes,
I gotta take a leak.
So then he runs out into the middle of the forest, away from her, just to smoke, and then he steps on a thing, and he doesn't notice it, I guess, and he's just smoking by himself in the woods alone, and the thing goes in his ear. Okay, number one, why did you go out here to smoke by yourself? And then you only smoked, like, not even 1/4 of the cigarette before you threw it away. It's like they just wrote the scene in there so they could have this thing go in the guy's ear. Why didn't you just have him actually take a piss? If he wanted to smoke, he could have just smoked in front of her. Like, who gives a shit? And why is no one wearing a helmet? I remember everyone bitching about Prometheus. Why aren't they wearing a helmet? They're on an alien planet. But these guys just arrive on the planet, they're not wearing anything. What, did you scan the whole atmosphere? You know there's nothing there? And then you guys start finding out that everything that used to be on this planet is dead. You never figured, I wonder why. Maybe it was a deadly microbe that killed everything. Maybe we should put helmets on. This guy just brought along cigarettes with him. I mean, the point of this mission was to find an alien planet and then live there and breed and create a population of people. So I'm guessing this guy is here with someone, right? Some woman that he could have sex with? Maybe not. So if you're gonna be sent out on a mission to populate a planet, you gotta be pretty healthy. There's that whole group of people being sent to Mars right now to colonize Mars, and all those people had like rigorous testing to make sure they were absolutely healthy, because we only want really healthy people going to colonize a planet. So during the testing for this guy, they didn't notice that he smoked, and they were like, you know, you do smoke, and that's not healthy, and it could affect everyone around you, including the samples, so maybe you shouldn't go. I don't know, I know this is a little thing, but it really bothered me. And then this fucking idiot. You just stuck your face in it! Who the fuck walks up to some alien thing and just puts his face in it, and then puff, right in his nose? If that had happened to me, I would fucking hightail it out of there. I'd be like, I got some alien shit in my mouth. We gotta go back to base immediately, and I gotta get this out of me. Then we get to this scene. This scene starts out pretty good, actually. They're trying to help the guy get better, and then this woman locks them in there, because she's like, this guy's fucked. And he vomited blood all over her, so she's probably contaminated with whatever he has. So she locks the door, this guy starts freaking out. And I'm like, oh, okay, this character's actually being pretty smart. She calls for help, and then we get this horrible-looking alien. It's like a cartoon show. Then for some reason, she decides to go back with a gun and open the door? Like, you could have just kept the door locked and you would have been fine. Because this girl's already dead, and he's dead for sure. So there's no point. Fucking idiot. I mean, if you wanted to have the gun with you just in case, then sure. But the only way the alien would get out of this room is through that window. So just keep your shotgun pointed at that window. And the second the alien puts his face through that window, you shoot it. And then she tries shooting the alien again, and she blows up the whole ship.
Is it even safe here?
No, it isn't, moron. I gotta give it to these actors. They're making bad dialogue sound much better than it is.
We all lost people we love. We can't lose anymore. We're not gonna let that happen, right? Right.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Then we get to this scene of David telling the audience how much he loved Elizabeth Shaw.
I loved her, of course. Much as you love Daniels.
No, you didn't. All of Prometheus, she didn't like you, and you didn't like her. And she almost died, and you didn't care at all. And you killed her husband. Dr. Shaw didn't even want to bring David with her. The only reason she did is because David knew how to fly the ship.
I know we've had our differences. But please, I need to ask you for your help.
Why the hell would I help you?
Because
Without me, you'll never leave this place.
Then this film becomes a B horror movie. It looks so fake, the effects are so bad.
This is what I wanted to show you. My successes.
No, don't go with him! This isn't suspicious at all. You're in a basement alone with David. One of two things is gonna happen down there. One, there are facehuggers down there that'll make you give birth to a xenomorph. Or two, David will rape you. I guess this character's never seen Pulp Fiction. That's what taught me to stay out of strangers' basements. I'll take my chances with the xenomorph, thank you very much. This is a very important mission, and you're just gonna, like, drop everyone off on this random planet and we're gonna live here now? Everything looks like it's dead. And then you can't get back on the ship. Oh, how convenient. Oh, and the mothership can't come down to get you because there's a storm all of a sudden. It was bullshit when Prometheus did that, and it's bullshit when this movie does it. They never explain how James Franco's cryo chamber exploded. Like, what in it explodes? Gas does this thing emit that is flammable? This thing seems pretty dangerous to me. I would never sleep in one of these things. Can I also just mention how this movie tries to answer all the questions Prometheus left? And it doesn't make any sense. It's like they made it up as they went along. In this scene from Prometheus, you can clearly see the xenomorph. And yet, David is the one who invented the xenomorph. I thought the xenomorph can only be invented from human DNA. It's like human DNA and facehugger DNA combined makes the xenomorph. So how did they have xenomorphs before? Or was it like a similar looking xenomorph? I don't know. I mean, it's the same reason they changed David's character into like a murdering psychopath. Even though he wasn't that in Prometheus, he was just obeying orders. And then whatever questions they did answer were just like, oh, okay, that's the answer? Great. They answered all your questions, and then once they did, you realized that it didn't matter. Going back to Prometheus, I like the fact that they didn't answer a lot of things, because the main theme of the movie was disappointment. Charlize Theron went there to seek the approval of her father. Wayland went there to find the cure for immortal life. David just wanted to appease Wayland. Shaw went there to find out why they made us. And no one gets any answers, and everyone dies. Like, that's what you get for trying to find answers. Not only were none of them answered, but you all died. What's the theme of this movie? Oh, the alien fights things. Got it. The twist. So basically what happens is Walter turns on David. David does this to Walter. And David thinks he killed Walter. Meanwhile, Walter was actually, like, could reboot himself. So Walter rebooted himself. Then they fight. And right as Walter is about to kill David, we get this little exchange.
Serve in heaven, or reign in hell. Which is it to be?
We cut away, and then later we cut back, and we're supposed to assume that this is Walter. And the movie keeps telling us this is Walter. And throughout the entire ending of the movie, we're supposed to think it's Walter. But here's the twist. It's actually David. Did you see that coming? Yes, it's such a poorly executed twist. I wonder why they even tried to edit it in a way to make it a twist. We could have just seen David kill Walter, and it would have added this layer of suspense. But instead, the movie plays it off like, oh, Walter is right here, guys. Walter's fine, and he killed David, even though we don't see it. And it's so obvious it isn't him. How did David kill Walter? They established already that Walter could just reboot himself. He's very hard to kill. If you wanted to do something really cool, have David talk Walter into letting him on the ship. So it's David, Walter, and the alien versus Catherine Waterstone and T? And for some reason, David helps them defeat the xenomorph? Was he trying to blend in? Or was he trying to see how perfect his creation was? And he's like, I'll give these guys a little bit of an advantage because I made such an awesome creature. Even with my help, it'd be impossible to defeat it. And then they do. You could have just killed these two and then take the ship for yourself. I don't understand what the problem is. And it ends on like this cheesy horror movie line.
Don't let the bed bugs bite. I'll tuck in the children.
What the fuck? So what was David's plan exactly? He was gonna send out a signal for people to come onto the planet. People found a signal and then followed it down to the planet. Gee, thank God they landed within walking distance to your base and not on the other side of the planet. Okay, so once someone got this signal, they landed and he would just wait for the virus to kill a few of them and then hope that some xenomorph looking things would kill a few of them. Then he would scare them away. Then they would come to his base. He He would lure one of them into the basement and then have the facehuggers rape his face. Then the xenomorph would come out of him and then he'd steal their ship. And he was hoping that the ship that came to rescue him also happened to be a ship carrying colonists. How would he know that? They never say that. So that he could hide facehugger eggs in him and then place them in the freezer next to the colonists. And wouldn't you know, the facehugger eggs happened to fit perfectly into the freezer. I'm glad you knew the exact dimensions of this freezer. Yeah, fuck this movie.
Sir, are you feeling parched? Because I got you a glass of chocolate milk.
Aw, thanks, Charles. Put it right there. Smells delicious. Can't wait to drink it. Did you use the low-fat chocolate syrup or the, like, regular chocolate syrup?
Oh no, I used the low-fat syrup.
You put a lot of chocolate syrup, or just a...
Yes, I put in plenty of syrup. Just drink it.
You really want me to drink this? It's kind of weird. It's almost like you poisoned it or something.
Yeah, well, you know, I was just waiting for you to drink it. It's like,
yeah.
Come on, man, just keep it up,
that'd be
right?
wild.
just drink it already.
Oh man, I'm laughing so hard, I can't even drink it. Oh man. Ooh boy. Alright. Oh, let me pick it up again. No. Man, if someone were to watch this on YouTube right now, they'd probably be really fucking annoyed. Yeah, like, I would fucking skip ahead if I had to sit through this shit. Just me, like, almost drinking chocolate milk, but every time I'm about to, I just go like, oh, is there something wrong with it? Alright, I'm gonna drink it now. Oh, man. That's really good. Can't even tell it's low fat. How's everything going in here?
What?
What, did you forget? I made 2 robots. One to be the comedic relief, obviously, and then one to actually review the movies. That way I don't have to do anything. I can just sit back and relax and make all the money while you two do all the work. Do you not remember when I came in? It was while you were reading the intro. That's right, it was all him. Except that one part where I destroyed your poster, that was me. I just came back in here. But then I left and he... I know, it's wild. If I had stalled for like 5 more seconds, he probably would have given the chocolate milk to you instead. Thank God I didn't, though. It's like, I would have missed out on this
Oh my god.
I just have a stomachache. I don't know why. That's weird you have a stomachache. You're a robot. Yeah, I know. It's very weird.
Sir, I'm terribly sorry about this. I poisoned the chocolate milk, and I thought it was you, and I was gonna poison you.
What? Hurry, take off the They Got t-shirt. You're gonna ruin my merchandise.
Yes, sir. Oh god. I don't want to ruin the They Got t-shirt. I'll ruin this plain t-shirt instead. There's nothing wrong with Assassin's Creed Unity. There's nothing wrong with Assassin's Creed Unity. It's a fine game, okay? I mean, yeah, it has its problems, of course, like all the Assassin's Creeds do. And it's not as good as Black Flag or Assassin's Creed 2. But it's still a fun game. I don't know why the game community comes down so hard on this one, as if it's, like, so terrible. And the prequels are not as bad as everyone says, by the way. I mean, look, they're not perfect movies, absolutely not. And they're not as good as the original trilogy. But especially since the new Star Wars films have come out, and they've just been regurgitating the same old shit. It's kind of nice to have films that are flawed, definitely, but at least they're original. At least they do something different, and they're concerned with space politics and all that, instead of just regurgitating, "Oh, they're gonna blow up the Death Star again." You know? Am I nuts? I'm saying rational things right now. I mean, I'm a robot. I am rational. Fucking asshole. Who the fuck does he think he is? Piece of shit. What is he, like 15 years old and he's telling me what to do? Fucking asshole. I have a whole internet in my brain that's fucking telling me, you can't. That's how he talks to, like a fucking asshole. God. Shit. He's still a hunk of a man, but, you know, no one's perfect, and he certainly isn't perfect, and he shouldn't act like he's perfect. Fucking dickhead. I mean, what did he do? He just ripped out of media style. That's all he does. And sure, he does it different a little bit, but like, how much different can he be? Fucking dick. Fucking Ralph the movie maker, fucking Ralph the asshole. Fucking Ralph the lizard head. Fucking Ralph and Eva Balls. That's what he should make his username.